Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. All right. So we got some big news today. We got some big news today. Big news. Big news. Big news today. It's your boy Lalo. You have reached the Lalo Show, and Fanny's in trouble. Fanny's in big trouble. Several charges have been dropped today by Judge McAfee in the Fulton County Court, and Fanny's in trouble. We're not gonna waste any time. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Check out the ticket at the bottom. Got my cash up there, you know. Your boy need a new mic, needs some new teeth and everything, man. Got child support, everything going on. So help your boy out, hit the cash up. But we're gonna get right into it, man. Let's see what's going on with NBC, man. NBC News just dropped a bombshell today. Let's see what they got to say.
Turning to the other top story in politics today, there are new developments tied to one of the multiple legal cases facing the presumptive Republican nominee, that being, of course, Donald Trump. Today, a judge dismissed several counts in the sweeping Georgia election interference case facing Donald Trump. The judge, Scott McAfee, ruled that the charges brought by the Fulton County District Attorney lacked specific detail. That's the same judge who was considering whether or not to throw out Fani Willis off the case entirely over a private romantic relationship she had with a top prosecutor. His ruling is expected any day now. Meanwhile, the DA's office now has to decide if they're going to refile these charges. Among the counts dismissed, one related to Donald Trump's infamous phone call to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger in January of 2021. In that phone call, then President Trump pressured Raffensperger to, quote, find enough votes to overturn the election results. Even with today's developments, the former president is still facing a record 88 criminal counts across 4 criminal cases. Daryl Cohen is with us now. He's a former assistant district attorney in Fulton County. Thank you so much for being here.
Good to be here. Thank you so much.
So
what you thinking?
Yes. So there's a lot to talk about. Why did the judge dismiss these specific charges, and do you think prosecutors will refile them?
I think it's a definite maybe that they may refile them. Judge McAfee is very measured. He's very bright. He has looked and listens to both sides. And in his view, there wasn't specific enough in these counts that he dismissed. Now, the fact that he dismissed them doesn't mean a lot in itself, because the DA's office still has the ability to go back to a grand jury, redo the various terms that they weren't specific enough, and come back and say, grand jurors, please return an indictment. And quite frankly, the grand jury, if it's brought back to them, would obviously re-indict or indict again, because we used to say, both when I was in the state attorney's office in Miami and DA's office in Atlanta, a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich, except maybe in Miami it'd be a corned beef sandwich. Either way, they would indict anyone that the DA's office, or in that case in Miami, the state attorney's office, brought them. So that in itself doesn't bother me, doesn't concern me. But even if they don't re-indict, the president, the ex-president, and all the people charged are still facing numerous charges against them, and that should not make much of a difference, except perhaps to the potential jurors who may say, wait a minute, is this really criminal, or is this political, or is this both? And why did the judge dismiss it? And why are we here? They may not have any difference at all. It just is we're gonna have to wait and see. This case has taken on a life of its own, and it will continue to take on a life of its own, regardless of what Judge McAfee does regarding finding Willis and Nathan Wade.
It definitely has taken on a life of its own, and you bring up key questions that a juror might ask. Now, I want to read to you part of what the judge wrote when he ruled. He said, as written, these 6 counts contain all the essential elements of the crimes, but failed to allege sufficient detail regarding the nature of their commission. They do not give the defendants enough information to prepare their defenses intelligently. So with that in mind, with the judge's own words in mind, what additional details do you think prosecutors need to provide if they want to refile this case?
I think they need to reach into their bag of detail, and they need to provide small details that show that former President Trump and the other people indicted actually committed a crime in this instance, not just the allegation that they did, but giving a little more specific, I'll never pronounce that word, being a little more specific in regard to what they are charging him with doing or not doing.
Yeah. I also want to ask you, does this decision give us any insight into whether the judge might disqualify the DA from this case?
I wish it did. I think Judge McAfee, whatever he does, will be measured. He will bring out whatever he believes to be the right thing to do, and more importantly, follow the law. He's been incredible. If you've watched him in these various hearings, he has been so measured and so fair that whatever he does will both surprise me and not surprise me, but will not surprise me that he will do what he believes the law says he should do and what he should do.
Well, thank you so much.
Fair and balanced. Excuse me, Fox, but fair and balanced.
Well, thank you so much for providing all that insight, Daryl Cohen.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about.
Okay, listen. This is what's going on. Trump has some charges, RICO charges, along with 17 other co-defendants, charging him with the conspiracy to change the election, right, back in 2020. The DA Fannie, she hired her boyfriend, Nathan Wade, to be the special prosecutor. This is if you've been living under a rock and you don't know. Of this case, he had never prosecuted a RICO case a day in his life, and they put together a flimsy type of RICO case and charged Donald Trump with RICO along with 16 or 17 others. I got to get the number right. I can't remember because there's so much going on. A lot has happened in the last few days. We've been waiting. They had a hearing concerning disqualifying Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade because they were boinking each other, whatever you want to call it. They're doing all this, right? So what's going on now is the court is trying to make a decision. The judge, Scott McAfee, is trying to make a decision where he wants to disqualify Fannie Willis and or Nathan Wade or both in the Trump RICO case. Now, with this case that she's brought forth to Trump was able to hire some attorneys and private investigators to dig into the lives of the prosecutor and the DA in order to fight his case. And he came with a lot of evidence, including text messages, phone calls, phone pinging. There's been allegations of tampering with witnesses, and all type of stuff came out. And Fannie Willis, Nathan Wade, as well as Nathan Wade's divorce attorney, Terrence Bradley, got on the stand and basically lied to the courts because they actually have physical evidence to show that they were lying. Now, what's going to happen now is I'm just going to play a clip because I already called it. I called it. I did this video a while back, maybe a few weeks ago, and I want y'all to check this video out, right? I want y'all to check this video out.
So, yeah, Trump, I'm calling it right now. Trump will beat the Fulton County case. It's going to get dropped. Fannie ain't got no choice at this point. She's just crashing out right now. She's like, might as well go hard. And because she does still have a bunch of women supporters. So she might as well go on and drag it out. That's how she feeling. And just crash it. And once the Trump case is dropped, she's going to, her case and any other cases that's ongoing right now under DA or under the DA Fannie Willis or Nathan Wade, the prosecutor. Any other case that's going on that we don't even know about, they also going to have the same opportunity to file a motion to go home. Yeah, that's how it works. That's how you got to understand how the system works. So, yeah.
Now, with that being said, Free Thug, But I'm gonna get serious right now, right? Okay, so we're gonna get into the charges. You know I got the receipts. Let's go ahead and get into the charges right now. All right. All right. So this is a document in the Superior Court of Fulton County, state of Georgia. Order on defendant's special demurs. Okay, so this is a motion that was filed to dismiss certain charges that was filed a while back by Trump's attorneys and his co-defendants' attorneys, right? So Judge McAfee finally came to a decision on this particular motion or motions today and released. And I'm going to tell you what this means later on, but we're going to get into the actual charges that were dismissed, okay? The 6 counts, it was 6 counts total that were dismissed today. The 6 counts are similarly structured and can be summarized as following. Count 2 alleges that multiple defendants solicited elected members of the Georgia Senate to violate their oath of office on December 3rd, 2020 by requesting or importuning them to unlawful appoint presidential electors. So basically, they was trying to get some other people to co-conspire with them, allegedly, to change the election. All right. Count 5 alleges that defendant Donald Trump solicited the Speaker of the Georgia House of Representatives to violate his oath of office on December the 7th by requesting or importuning him to call a special session to unlawfully appoint presidential electors. Okay, now I think that kind of goes into the phone conversation that they were using, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute. Now, the phone conversation that is ultimately the meat and the potatoes of the case of the RICO charge has been removed. The evidence is removed. They cannot use the recording, but I'm gonna go deeper into that recording too because I know some things. Now, count 6 alleges that defendants Smith and Giuliani is an attorney out here in New York, solicited members of the Georgia House of Representatives to violate their oath of office on December the 10th, 2020 by requesting or importuning, I hope I'm saying that right, I gotta look that up, them to unlawfully appoint presidential electors. So all these charges sound like it's all about them trying to get people to come in. I don't know. You tell me. Let me know in the comments. Count 23 alleges that multiple defendants solicited it's the same charges, elected members of the Georgia Senate to violate their oath of office on December 3rd, 2020 by requesting or importuning them to unlawfully appoint presidents. They're all the same charge. Count 28 alleges that defendants Trump and Meadows solicited the Georgia Secretary of State to violate his oath of office on January the 2nd, 2021 by requesting or importuning him to unlawfully influence certified election returns. Count 38 alleges that defendant Trump solicited the Georgia Secretary of State to violate his oath of office on September the 17th, 2021 by requesting or importuning him to unlawfully decertify the election. Now, let's go back to the phone call, right? Let's go back to the phone call. The phone call was basically, let me see if I can find the phone call. Let's find the phone call. Trump, Georgia, phone call. Let's see if we can find this phone call real quick. The phone call. Do they have the phone call?
These potential charges. Really, really important part of these.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find.
It's okay. I'm just going no prompter.
11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Now, that was a key component. Now,
I just want to, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find
it's okay. I'm just going no prompter.
11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Okay, so this is the phone call that was the meat and potatoes, like I said, of the RICO charge in Fulton County, where he allegedly called the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, and allegedly solicited him to do some improper things to collect votes, which I didn't get that from this phone call. I mean, he was running for president at the time, and he's calling around, basically looking for a recount, I guess. That's what I got from it personally. I'm not an attorney. I'm not, a politician, but I do have experience in the legal firm. But I will say this, that this was some bull. This was some bull. Had I been charged with the same thing, I would have seen an easy out. And like I said, I called it. They dropped 6 charges off of the RICO case. I think 3 of the charges were directed directly to Trump, and the other charges were, directed to other co-defendants that he has. But still, he's the head of the RICO case, so it's still his charges, kind of. Okay, if you understand how the RICO case works, then you will know that anything that comes under the RICO and who's ever at the top, they're also being charged as well for the entire thing. So facing up to 20, no less than 20 years in a RICO case. That's any RICO case. And originally, the RICO case was invented or created for the mafia. This is why the RICO case was created. And they're basically saying that Trump is a mob boss, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? So that's what's going on now with the RICO in Atlanta. And Trump is seeming to be on the path of victory. I mean, I don't see no other way to put it. He's definitely winning in several states when it comes to voters. He's already been nominated as the front runner for the Republican Party, as well as Joe Biden has been nominated yesterday as the front runner of the Democratic Party. But unfortunately, Fani Willis is in trouble. And what's going to happen at this point? Because they haven't made a decision as far as Fani Willis and Nathan Wade being disqualified from the Trump RICO case, right? But this is a great sign. This is a great sign, and it's saying to the public, the judge is saying this to the public, that he's going to do the right thing. Because the right thing was to drop some of those charges because they were bogus. Now let's talk about this phone call. Here's the problem with the phone call, right? Let me show you something. Let me show you guys something real quick. All right. Let me show y'all something. Let's go over here to Google. Shout out to Google. Let's go over here to Google. Make sure you like and subscribe. How many states All right, let's look. All right. Laws about recording phone calls by state. In other words, every individual involved in a conversation must be made aware and agree to the recording of a phone call. These states where it is illegal to record a phone conversation is California, Delaware, Florida. Some say he was in Florida when he made the phone call. Illinois, Maryland, that's where the White House is, Washington, D.C., Massachusetts, Montana, Nevada, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, and Washington. So this is what's happening, or what was going to happen anyway. The phone conversation was illegal to record. And that may be one of the main reasons why the phone conversation was taken or dismissed as evidence, which is their main evidence. That was the only thing they had to stand on when it came to this case. The phone conversation with the Secretary of State in Georgia and Trump. That was their main case. That was their main evidence. That was it. That's all they really had, because everything else falls under that phone call. That was the only proof that they had. Now, by the judge dismissing that particular charge, they have no case. The RICO cases got to crumble. Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade will be disqualified. It's red flags everywhere. If the judge does not disqualify Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade, he will lose his job. I promise you that. This is election season, so everybody's is running right now to be reelected. The judge knows that if he does the right thing and disqualifies Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade, it's very possible that he will be voted back into his chair. And he's already got two more he has two more front runners that are trying to take his seat, as well as Fannie Willis in the upcoming election. Mind you, Fannie Willis, if not disqualified and removed, will be on the ballot this year to run again. But we can't let that happen. We're not gonna let that happen. We're not gonna let that happen. So, all in all, I'm gonna call it again like I called it before. Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade will be disqualified from the Trump case. Yes, the Trump case can be picked up by another special prosecutor, but I want you guys to tell me in the comments, who's going to take on Trump again? Who? Who's going to go through all this right now, what Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade is going through? Who's going to try their hand again? I don't think Jesus himself would try it. I'm just saying. With that being said, man, you are now watching the Laylo Show, man. Ticker, check out the ticker at the bottom, and my Cash App is down there. I need a new mic, I need new teeth, and I got child support. Help your boy out. I'll see y'all again in the next video.